Hey everybody, Supersonic Boom here, and today I will be reviewing one of my favorite classic Sonic characters, Rosie the Rascal. What was that you called me?
Insolent swine!
I'm sorry, Mistress Amy, please don't Piko me. So anyway, today I'm going to be reviewing two figures, 3-inch Sonic with his rings, and 3-inch Amy with her Piko Piko Hammer. Alright, first off we'll go over the boxes, as usual. Not going to spend too much time on that. Boxes are really nice, simple. Show the figures well. There's Amy and hers. Here's Sonic and his. I will say one thing's kind of weird. This little as seen on games sticker. Don't really get that. I think it should be as seen in games, or as seen in the games. But whatever. It gets the job done. Alright, next up on the list, Articulation. So, Amy has 13 points of articulation, pretty nice for a figure her size, and Sonic has 14 points of articulation. One more for him because of his waist joint, which Amy does not have. Also, articulation-wise, this applies to Sonic, but not necessarily Amy. Actually, not Amy at all. Sonic has these cool new joints that Jazwares has been putting on their figures lately that kind of compact 2 points of articulation into 1 point, so Sonic's arm can move up and down like that, but also side to side like that. And the same thing with his leg joints. So that's really cool. Kind of adds a ton of articulation possibilities for Sonic. Alright, moving on to the sculpts. So, Amy, as you would expect from Jazwares, has a really good sculpt. She's pretty proportional, her dress, her shoes, her hands, everything. They're the right size. Her head looks great, her eyes aren't crisscross or anything. Great paint job on the head. There's kind of a little seam right there, but that was on the original one too. I think it's a little bit more pronounced here though. All of her white highlights are included here. The bottoms of her shoes are accurately colored. There's a little bit of mispaint on her shoes, some red right there, but it's not too noticeable. All in all, wonderful sculpt and a pretty darn good paint job for Amy Rose. I have similar things to say about Sonic. He's got nicely detailed eyes, a cool grin, his nose looks good, the paint job on his head is very nice, not too many noticeable seams. His arms are cool and smooth, not too muscular like the old ones used to be. His legs look cool. His stomach kind of has that same muddy brown off texture as the Sonic that came with the Blaze figure. But other than that, this guy's sculpt and paint job are pretty darn near flawless. Okay, now I'll go over the sculpt and paint job of the accessories. Sonic's rings, are nice and golden, and circular and metallic and ring-like, and so that's pretty cool. Yeah. Comparing them to the Resource Sonic rings, they are almost exactly the same size. Like, it's kind of freaky how close they are. I wonder if there was some mold borrowing going on there. But anyway, the newer ones I actually kind of like better because they're more golden than the old rings. So kudos to Jazwares for beating out Resource in one aspect. The Piko Piko Hammer, it's the main deal. It's the thing everybody wants. It's pretty great. You've got your red detail, your brown detail, your white detail, your light brown detail, and your other brown detail. So that's all good. It's shaped accurately to the games. Very nice. Glad to have this. Alright, it's kind of pointless to make a whole accessory section since I just went over them, but oh well. The accessories. Sonic comes with a nice clear stand and his 2 rings. Cool stuff. Amy Rose comes with another clear stand and her Piko Piko Hammer. Good stuff. Okay, time for the pros and cons. For Sonic, we've got a great sculpt, a really good paint job besides the chest spot, and these cool new joints that can swivel every which way. Also, another pro is that the joints this time are really tight. I know everybody always complains about Jazwares being loose, but I think they might be listening because these are really, really tight. I mean, I don't want to say too tight because me and everybody else whined about them being loose for so long, but oh my gosh, these are very tight joints. So that's kind of a pro. Yeah, I'll put that in the pros category. Anyway, cons, that little stomach thing, that's not too cool. Also, his rings are a little bit loose, but if you stick them in there, there we go. And right now they're kind of loose, but if you turn them to a certain degree, then they kind of get tight and he holds them very well. So that's all good. Pros for Amy. This is one of the only Amy figures, and it's also coincidentally the best. Good sculpt, good paint job all around, good detail, no cross eyes. That's always fun. And biggest pro would be the Piko Piko Hammer, which has great detail, and what's an Amy without her Piko Piko Hammer? One last pro is that Amy can actually hold her hammer pretty well, and I was not expecting this because Vector and Espio couldn't hold their accessories really worth crap. But Amy actually has a pretty tight grip on her hammer. Cons. Amy is extremely hard to pose and balance with her hammer. Even with her stand, it's pretty bad. You can get it though, as long as you keep the hammer kind of up and towards her center of gravity. But yeah, this is a really light Amy figure, and it's a really top-heavy hammer. They could have made that a little bit lighter. But it's not too big of a deal. You should be able to get around it. Okay, last up, warnings when buying these figures. First up, be warned that a couple of Sonic's joints can be a little bit floppy and a little bit loose, but mostly they're very tight and very good. Also, watch out for bad paint on Sonic. I'm not sure if all of them are quite this bad, because this was the only one in the store, and I bought it because I didn't want to miss out on it. But yeah, keep an eye out for bad paint. Be warned that you will probably have some balance issues with Amy and her hammer. Also, watch out for bad paint. And also make sure you watch out for reversed limbs. When I originally got this Amy earlier today, she was butchered. I had to completely take her apart. This arm was on that side, and this arm was on that side, and so I popped them off. Not too big a deal. I had to take the head off first because I couldn't get them off because her bangs kind of keep them on there. So yeah, I popped them off and I switched them, and then I realized that the hands were also reversed, so then I had to rip off the hands and put them in the right places. And it kind of made the figure a little bit floppy in the process. So make sure that the arms are on the right side. And you can tell that by Amy kind of has a little rounded area there in her, I guess that's her armpit. And as you can see, it just goes down farther on this side than it does up here. So make sure that that's pointing downward. And make sure that the tiny little elbow joint, well, you can't really see any of this in the box. So check out your figures and return them if they have any of these defects, and look for some new ones. Okay, final thoughts. I give Sonic a 9 out of 10 because of his great sculpt, his great articulation, his cool ring accessories, his stand, pretty much decent paint job. All of that combined together, great figure. You should have a lot of fun with this. Amy, I also give her a 9 out of 10 because she, as well, has good articulation, a great sculpt, good paint job, and she comes with her freaking Piko Piko Hammer. How cool is that? Anyway, I would recommend these to any figure collector. This is some of Jazwares' best stuff. I highly recommend it. So, as usual, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what I should review next in the comments, and let me know what you thought of this review. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.